A dictator rises to power, surrounded by devoted followers. His speeches are filled with absurdities, his policies defy logic, yet the crowds cheer. They follow him not because of deep reasoning but because they simply don't question. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a German theologian and anti-Nazi dissident, witnessed this firsthand in Nazi Germany. He realized something terrifying: not all evil comes from malice. Some of the worst atrocities in history weren't carried out by evil masterminds, but by ordinary people who simply followed orders, never thinking for themselves. His conclusion? Stupidity is more dangerous than malice. But what exactly did Bonhoeffer mean by stupidity? And how does it still control our world today? What is Bonhoeffer's theory of stupidity? Bonhoeffer, imprisoned by the Nazis for his resistance, spent his final days analyzing human nature. He realized that totalitarian regimes don't just use force, they rely on mass stupidity. But here's the catch: stupidity isn't about IQ. It's not about education. A highly intelligent person can still be profoundly stupid in Bonhoeffer's sense. According to Bonhoeffer, stupidity is a moral, not an intellectual failure. It happens when people stop thinking critically, blindly accept authority, and let others do their thinking for them. This type of stupidity is dangerous because it rejects facts, no matter how much evidence is presented. It cannot be argued with, because it is not based on reason. It becomes aggressive, because it thrives on emotion, not logic. Example: Nazi Germany wasn't just built on hatred, it was built on obedience. Ordinary Germans who might have been kind neighbors before, suddenly justified horrific crimes. What? Because they stopped questioning. And it's not just history, this is happening today. Think about it. How do propaganda and social media shape what we believe? Why do people spread misinformation even when it's clearly false? Why do some blindly follow leaders even when their actions are destructive? The answer: stupidity isn't an individual defect, it's a social epidemic. How stupidity thrives in society. Bonhoeffer warned that stupidity isn't just an individual flaw, it spreads through society under the right conditions. So when does stupidity take over? When power is concentrated. The more authoritarian a society becomes, the more stupidity grows. What? Because power doesn't just corrupt leaders, it makes followers stop thinking. In a dictatorship, questioning authority is dangerous. So people adapt. They stop thinking critically and simply follow orders. The result? A society of blind followers, not independent thinkers. Example: the Soviet Union. Millions justified Stalin's purges simply because they accepted that the leader was always right. When people surrender their thinking. Most people don't want to think deeply about complex problems. It's easier to accept simple answers. They are the enemy. This leader will fix everything. If you disagree, you must be evil. Social media thrives on this. Algorithms don't reward deep thinking, they reward outrage. The more simplistic and emotional a message, the more it spreads. That's why conspiracy theories, blind nationalism, and political extremism flourish. 3. When fear takes over. Fear is the fuel of stupidity. When people feel threatened, whether by economic collapse, war, or political instability, they don't think clearly. They cling to whatever makes them feel safe, even if it's irrational. Example: throughout history, leaders have used fear to control the masses. The Nazis blamed Jews for Germany's problems. Dictators blame outsiders. Politicians blame the other side. Why? Because fear makes people stop thinking. Why stupid people empower the worst leaders? There's a harsh truth: bad leaders don't rise to power on their own. They are lifted up by the blind loyalty of the masses. Bonhoeffer saw this in Nazi Germany. Ordinary people defended Hitler, even as he destroyed their country. They weren't all evil. Many were simply incapable of independent thought. The cycle of stupidity and power. A charismatic leader rises, using simple slogans and emotional appeals. Followers stop questioning, accepting their leader's words as absolute truth. The leader exploits this obedience, making more extreme and reckless decisions. The followers justify every action, no matter how destructive. And by the time people realize what's happening, it's too late. Example: this isn't just history. It happens in modern politics, in cults, in corporations, even in online echo chambers. When people refuse to question authority, refuse to think critically, and refuse to challenge their own beliefs, they become the foot soldiers of stupidity. How to protect yourself from stupidity. If stupidity is this powerful, how do you fight it? Bonhoeffer believed the only solution was independent thinking and moral courage. Here's how. Think critically, always. Never accept anything at face value. Question everything, especially things that make you feel comfortable. Ask yourself, what if I'm wrong? The ability to doubt yourself is a sign of intelligence. Resist groupthink. Just because a crowd believes something doesn't make it true. The more pressure you feel to conform, the more you should stop and think. Challenge authority. Blind obedience is the first step towards stupidity. Never trust leaders who demand loyalty instead of truth. Take responsibility for your mind. Avoid simplistic narratives. The world is complex. Anyone selling you an easy answer is manipulating you. Think deeply, read widely, and seek out opposing views. Because the truth is, no one is immune to stupidity. It can happen to you, me, or anyone, if we stop thinking. Final warning, are you falling into stupidity? Bonhoeffer's warning wasn't just about Nazi Germany, it was about human nature. Every time you blindly accept a narrative, refuse to question, or let fear dictate your thinking, you are stepping closer to stupidity. So ask yourself, do you question your own beliefs? Are you willing to challenge authority when necessary? Do you think for yourself, or do you let others think for you? Because here's the terrifying truth. Most people would rather be comfortable than right. But those who stop thinking don't just destroy themselves, they empower the worst forces in history. Final thought. If you want to stay free, mentally, socially, and politically, you must take responsibility for your own mind. So, are you truly thinking for yourself? Or are you just another pawn in the system? This isn't just a theory, it's a warning. Stupidity isn't harmless. It's a force that can be manipulated, weaponized, and used to reshape the world in the worst ways. And if we don't recognize it, we become part of the problem. So ask yourself, are you questioning what you're told? Are you thinking for yourself? Or are you just going along with the crowd? If this video made you think, don't stop here. Subscribe for more deep, thought-provoking content that challenges the way you see the world. Like this video to spread awareness and share it, because the fight against ignorance begins with knowledge. Stay curious, stay aware, and never stop questioning.